translate that into strong performances at AFL level. He's teased us with bits of class. There's a #1 draft pick. They want to see him embed himself in this side.
So all set to go. Week 2 JLT series. Starting us off, Dwayne Russell.
And good with 2 games that both teams playing close to their best lineup possible. Almost at full strength, which is great to see. Kicked off the deck by Kennedy, one of the new recruits from the Blues, wearing Dylan Buckley's old number 7. That kick was from Pickett, also a new recruit to the pocket. And they've got it forward with a swirling breeze already. We'll get a ball in, and it's a tricky breeze.
We were watching a little bit of the curtain raise, the Northern Blues against Sandringham, and this wind is doing plenty. It is blowing a gale out there. It's swirly. It goes in lots of different directions, and the players had plenty of problems, particularly shooting for goal.
Cruiser just dropped it down in front. Nunes tried to slam it back out. Didn't travel far. Good sidestep, though. Stephen. Slick ball movement, good chance for McCartan. Nice collect on the run, gave it off just in time, got it to Sinclair, have gone forward. A couple of Blues get back for Jones. Outstanding year, a resurrection year last year, and he has started this year as he finished last year.
Simpson goes in towards the middle, finds his man in Kennedy. As Dwayne said, one of the recruits coming to the Blues. Goes down in towards the forward pocket region. An opportunity for a shot at goal here from Fisher, but instead he centres the ball, and that's sensible. He does well, and Cripps comes in and takes the mark.
Already seen on both teams having an opportunity to go inside 50 and spot up a target. The wind just really playing havoc. Probably not the ideal circumstances for Ben Dixon, who's been down at St Kilda working on the team's goal kicking over the summer. I'm not sure it'll bear too much fruit tonight in these conditions.
Swirling winds, and these stands at this ground, Jason, wouldn't help with that wind.
No, it's a little bit low just behind the goals. It's a funny shaped stadium, but from here he shouldn't have problems.
Cripps directly in front. Doesn't have a problem, and gets the first goal of the night.
But one of the things that amazes me about Paddy Cripps, and I noticed it when you were interviewing him pre-game, Rui, is he towers above you. This is a midfielder, and we're talking 6'5". I mean, you were on one side, Nicky Dowell looked like, you know, he was half pint size on the other, but he's actually taller than you, and we've always regarded you as a huge key forward. But the modern breed of midfielders, they are tall men, big blokes.
Yeah, we spoke to him before the game about his desire to push forward and kick more goals. He identified the great midfielders in the competition. That's what they do. So he's gotten off to a great start in that capacity tonight.
A few fans still starting to file in here at Ikon Park Wednesday night after work, trying to get a few along. That bounce outside the circle, but as I've seen this year already, if it's a contest, it'll be called play on. Armitage, a couple of don't argues, did well. Ross, wide ball, McCartan couldn't get there, and Jones, as strong as ever with those hands. A huge round of applause to Simpson at halfback to set it all up. Curnow, who had that crushed larynx last year, good to see him back. Tried to get it to his brother, why wouldn't you? He's arguably the most exciting player in the comp to watch this year. He might rise another level. Good sidestep by Thomas. Chip kick. Kennedy can't take the mark. Thomas goes back in to make amends. Could have gone a little closer to goal with the kick. And he holds it into the area, and we'll get a ball up just outside 50 for the Blues.
Been an impressive early start from Liam Jones, hasn't he? He's got that explosive burst of speed off the mark, which is going to trouble Paddy McCartan.
Been really good as Casbolt doing the ruck work on that occasion. Couldn't get it away cleanly. Almost thrown out. Opportunity now once again for Kennedy, who gives it off, flicking towards full forward. The back, Brown was attempting to spoil. Geary is there as well, close to the boundary line and over. Thrown in the right forward pocket.
You've touched on the breeze already. It is very gusty. There's no doubt that it is going towards the end that the Blues are kicking to. But it just depends what angle you're coming in at in regards to which way the ball will move. But it's definitely going to the left of screen.
Nick D'Alessandro on the boundary line. Cruiser. Interesting in the press saying that he wants to find a more attacking game, perhaps down in the forward line. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and I think if you're going to survive in this game, you've got to have multiple roles.
Ball comes up towards Membry on centre wing. Used the body nicely. Takes a fine grab. Nothing up forward at the moment. Players streaming down the ground. He just goes down the line to Gresham, and he marks almost down to half forward.
Good confidence for Paddy McCartan with that early strong grab too at halfback.
And that's where he is really strong. You know, when the ball's right in front of his eyes and he can take it at the highest point, he's as good as I've seen it at that part of the game.
And he's backtracking into the hole here to have another crack at it. Got hands on it. Couldn't bring the mark down. Goes back into lay a tackle, which is a good sign. Marchbank flicks the handball up wide. Kick along the wing by Mullet, another of the new recruits for the Blues, getting a touch early. We're in the 18 for the Blues this year. Keep an eye on him to see what position he settles into as the ball stumped away from Jones.
Push out
by Marchbank.
Yeah, push out from the cart on that occasion because Jones had the speed to pop in front and take off the leading lane.
So back inside to Marchbank. Again, this breeze is tricky. Plowman keeps it low. Garlett to collect it. Little fumble, but he was clever enough. Cunningham. Inside to Fisher. Webster got a little piece of ear, but not enough for it to be a free kick. Robertson, he was hammered, dispossessed. Free kick's been found. Cunningham will get it. It'll come back. He was caught illegally as he was tackled. It'll be the Blues ball on the wing.
David Cunningham.
Such a quick game now. The slightest fumble, we saw Dylan Robin. If you don't handle it cleanly, you get collared.
Poor kick, but Silvani tidies up. Goes in towards Cruiser. And he takes the mark, tucked in the pocket.
Great use of the body there. Just edged his man, Billy Longer, under the ball. And the two players that identify they wanted to get forward and spend more time have taken the two inside 50 marks for the Blues so far in Cripps and Cruiser.
Perfect view of what Cruiser has ahead of him.
He's going to get a drop punt. See if he can just get the wind to bring it around right to left.
30 metres out. It's coming back. It's done beautifully well. Cruiser gets his first. Blues have two on the board.
It's a man with confidence in his kick, and you can't kick that any better.
He struck it perfectly. It's probably a little bit unorthodox now, the way most players would set up on that sort of angle. It's usually just a couple steps to open it, and just great ability to identify the drop zone there. He knew exactly where he wanted to mark the ball, edged his man underneath, and that's a great finish.
You seem to be suggesting the drop punt's not going to catch on, though.
Yeah, but what I like about that is he realised how strong the wind is, and you could see where he's running. He was running at just outside the far point post. He ran at that spot, and he kicked at that spot.
Absolutely.
And it went straight at that spot before the wind curled it through.
For a man who kicked 1,254 of them, and probably a couple of bags of a dozen here at his old home ground. Stephen tries to back out of the pack, couldn't. Murphy caught him and caught him high. Umpire let it roll, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, so no free paid. He's going to have to do something here.
You'd be able to tell us, Jason, wouldn't you, how many bags of a dozen?
Unfortunately, it was a really, really long time ago. Yeah.
Boys, bad news at ground level. David Cunningham has just walked past with two doctors assisting him back to the Carlton rooms. I'll keep you posted on an update in regards to what his issue is.
Yeah, it's horrific news. He's going to be gone for a while.
At least he was walking.
Yep, Pickett around the body, got it back inside 50. Good trap by Casbolt, can't go anywhere with it.
Super tackle.
Absolutely. Locked him up. Brown, a little fumble. Troubled times now. McKay stalking it. Might still get a chance at it. The umpire said it hit the behind post, then we will get a ball in. Here's the incident with Cunningham.
Who's up, Carlton?
The foot seemed to get caught under Brown, didn't it not?
Didn't look to twist or buckle too badly, so hopefully we'll keep the fingers crossed that it's nothing too serious.
We'll get an update. And Silvani, an attempt at soccer off the ground, didn't have the distance. Geary works hard, but he needs support, and in the end he gets it. So the Saints should get out of trouble towards Gresham. He's got to be quick. He is. Gets the hand pass away. Savage. Poor hand pass, going to come unstuck. Cruiser gets the chance now. Big man backpedaled a little. Gives it across to Wright. Wright goes with a high ball in towards half forward. And a good strong mark. Again, Patrick Cripps is the man.
See what else we've seen a couple of times. The pressure from the Blues is causing the Saints to fumble. Every time they fumble, there's a turnover, an opportunity to go forward for the Blues, and they're capitalising on it.
Yeah, great pressure from the Blues. The Saints had a couple opportunities there to just clear the area. That forward handball when you're coming out of defence. The way teams are able to apply pressure coming forward at the team possessing the ball is really strong. So maybe just better to clear the area on that occasion.
Cripps for number 2. 45 metres out. He just guides it beautifully. He's got 2. Blues have got 3.
See, well, I'd be playing him forward too. Kicking the ball like that. Beautiful kicking style, a nice fluent technique. But we spoke about his size. If you're 6'4", 6'4 and a half, almost 6'5", that's an imposing size. All of a sudden, you might necessarily get the key defender, and he just out-muscled Jaron Geary. All of a sudden, good flexibility in their forward line. You've got a couple of youngsters in Mackay and also Curnow, who look like they're going to be future key position stars. You get your mid-sizes like the Silvani and the like, but then if you get the X factor in a Paddy Cripps going forward, all of a sudden that front six looks potent.
Casbolt into the ruck. It'll flick down, work nicely, but they didn't get the clearance. And his opposite ruck, but ended up getting the clearance, Gilbert. They should get it out. Gresham back inside, didn't quite work as he wanted to. Ed Curnow, that didn't work as he wanted to. Gresham flicks it back and gets it to an open man at least. Loney, long, goal square, didn't get there. The wind just caught it and dropped it big time. They're all way too off the ball.
Yeah, and that's something that the St Kilda forwards will have to adjust to as well. They've got to make sure that they read exactly how far their teammates can kick the ball into this place.
That was Byrne to Marchbank. Byrne, one of the players Nick Del Santo identifying earlier on in the broadcast that can replace Doherty, and his run is going to be massive.
Defensively, the Carlton have set up really well, though, on St Kilda's forward entries. The key defenders are just taking the leading space away, so they pretty much know every time the ball's coming in, because they've taken that front position, that it's going to be up in the air. That allows your teammates to be able to roll off and intercept, as they've been able to do on the last 2 occasions.
Sam Gilbert's had a bit of fun with a bottle of dye.
And it makes a lot of sense too. I mean, Saints are kicking into a strong breeze. It'll be pretty stiff if they get hold of it enough to kick it over your head as a key defender if you're playing in front.
Casbolt using the right hand down towards. There was some holding on there from Savage, and it goes to Murphy. Murphy, just short little chip. Well, the idea was right, but the mark wasn't held by Jed Lamb. Doesn't matter, because they go in towards goal once again, over the head, and there's number 4 on the board for the Blues.
Impressive the way they're moving the ball forward. They've looked good, and it should have been snapped up by Lamb. Unfortunately, he dropped it, but Cade Simpson, good enough. We know the quality of him, just to evade a player and get onto the trusty left foot and off a couple of steps from just outside 50. Made it look easy.
Well, they played a different style last year. The Blues coached the defence first style last year, Brendan Bolton, while they tried to secure a better defence. They did not win as many games last year as the year before, and they stacked the back line a couple of times, and they lost 9 of their last 10 games last year playing that style.
Here's that defensive structure we just spoke about, with the Carlton defenders standing way up in front of the St Kilda forwards, so that into that wind, if any kick drops short, we know they're going to be eating it up.
And maybe they are going to play a different style of defence, which would be fantastic for Blues fans. Back inside 50, Savage got there first, ran into a roadblock. Webster was his out, but he couldn't pick it clean. Fisher was in his way. Carlton got it to Murphy, caught by the ear. Should have been a free wash. And it'll come back to Murph, and a chance to add another one.
Drop punt or a snap here, boys? Looks like a drop punt. He's coming back quite deliberately, but the way Cruz has just kicked it before, he's had a pretty good read.
Yeah, it should be round about that right-hand goalpost. You'd think the way the wind is moving the ball, it seems to be where he's aligning himself.
Said this week he wants to be a Blue for life, working on a new contract. Couldn't slot that, though. Only a behind.
He was lined up at the right goalpost, but then as he went to run in, he actually ran at the point post.
Well, Murphy's lost his great mate in Bryce Gibbs, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does go this year, as Lockie O'Brien gets a touch. The young man who certainly had the spotlight on himself as well, sees it over the boundary line.
Taking Bryce Gibbs as number 2.
Yeah.
Good news for Carlton supporters and David Cunningham in himself, that he's now back on the bench with his teammates and looks like he's ready to join the game again.
Well, that is very good news. As Fisher tried to get it out for the Blues. Working there also was O'Brien once again. Welcome to the big league, and he's settled in pretty well. Here's a chance for Webster. Up towards centre wing. And Marchbank controlling to Simpson. Simpson gives it back. Away they go now. In towards half forward once again. They're dominating at the moment, Carlton. In towards Harry Mackay. Couldn't complete the mark. Got a hand to it, but that was all. St Kilda defence being tested to the fullest. It extends to Stephen, and Jack takes the mark. Jack Stephen plays on. Gets it in towards the middle. Mark taken by Luke Dunstan. He gives it away now. Here's Seb Ross, the club champion from last year, inside 50, clear. Doesn't go for goal, just passes into the pocket, and there he is. Paddy McCartan takes the mark. 25 out, 45-degree angle.
Yeah, well, the danger with playing in front as a defender is if the opposition are able to break the lines as St Kilda were there, and we saw Seb Ross really get the ball and tuck it under his arm, all of a sudden as a defender you're completely out of position. It was a great kick to space for Paddy McCartan.
As Jason said, 22 goals in 22 games. Can he get one here?
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's well done. So he's on the board, and St Kilda's on the board. McCartan has his first.
And the other thing that's going to help the confidence of that young man there, Paddy McCartan, is if he gets some good delivery like we just saw from Seb Ross. Just put the ball out in front, into space, nothing too fancy. Just see him here, a couple of hand passes. He's allowed to run and carry, and then he just chips it into space. It doesn't have to be a bullet pass. It doesn't have to look pretty. It just has to get to the space that favours the forward, and then let him do the rest. And Paddy McCartan was good enough to do it on that occasion.
Nick Rewalt down there to get them out of trouble. Been on the list long enough to know he's got to be a leader as well as a marking target and a goal kicker. Paddy McCartan didn't play any footy after round 14 last year due to the concussion issues, but has started this game brilliantly.
Probably a few players thinking a bit more of the ball might come their way now too.
You reckon? Exactly. Don't want to get them out of the hole. High kick, Webster from behind, good fist down, got it down to Geary, got it off just in time. Good lead, not good enough to get there for that one. The wind really pushed it out in front of Membry, and it's on the full. Free kick Blues.
So it was Patrick Cripps again, deep forward target on that last entry. He's gone to full forward, playing out of the square, and at the other end, Jack Stevens at full forward for the Saints. So based on what we saw with Dustin Martin last year, we know it's a copycat league. I'm sure we'll see plenty of the best midfielders doing that.
Cruiser stalking it, went over his head in the end. Nice little gather by Garlett, tried to get it out to Thomas. He kept it alive. Curnow kept it alive to the top of the square. Casbolt beaten for it by a couple. Webster, bounce for some poise. Jack Stephen, one-on-one. Plowman, good use of the body, too strong.
Plowman comes inboard. That's dangerous, and they're going to lose it here.
No one
going to really open up for the Saints, and the kick goes long. It was by Clark in towards the half-forward line. Membry is there. Tim Membry now swings around, goes onto the right boot, but pushes it right across the face of goal and out of bounds in the left-forward pocket.
Interesting option going forward. Hunter Clark, we might run and carry. Maybe see if something could open up and create there, but he just decided to hit it to space out in front of Tim Membry. And in the end, it was a pretty good kick. Gave Membry a chance, but tough snap, particularly in this breeze.
Cruiser, Gilbert again doing the ruck work for St Kilda. Cruiser front spot. It's a little too far underneath it. Tries to get a kick away, but has a fresh air shot. Little chip goes in towards the pocket. And the Blues through Marchbank should be able to defend to Simpson. Second attempt, he recovers well. Kick's going to be all right. It's plucked with one hand by Charlie Curnow. He's an exciting player too.
Yep.
Has a look down towards the middle. Once again, the ball grabbed by the strong breeze. Mark taken by Billy Longer. Longer plays on straight away to Webster. Webster goes in towards his skipper. Then Geary Mark just on the defensive side of centre. Gives it off to Blake Acres. Acres backpedals a little. Off towards Caulfield. The youngster has a look around. Runs his full distance. Then steadies towards Membry, trying to do the work from behind. Marchbank tidies up. Blues out of trouble once again.
Burn didn't really look. He did have Casbolt on the run, but he's got three to beat. Might still beat them all. Webster cut him off. He knew he had the cavalry coming to arrive, and he got there in the end. Flicked it to Carlton, and they should be out of trouble. Geary back to Webster. And Casbolt's a little cook. Couldn't chase the mark attempt from Savage. He launches wide. Membry's his target. Breeze played with it again, and easy knockout of play by Marchbank.
Handball just as he took his eyes off it. Hit him right on the button.
Shorter quarters this round of the JLT Community Series. Only time on added after the 15-minute mark of each quarter as Cruiser gets edged out illegally in the ruck contest. Umpires allowed it to go. Long kick forward, pretty good from Pickett. Goes all the way to the square, hits the post. Would have been nice. They're doing a lot of attacking in this opening term with this breeze.
Just over 4 minutes remaining in this first term. Geary to himself. Gilbert edged out by Simpson almost illegally. Umpire lets it go. Opportunity now for Sinclair. Back pedals once again. Back to Gilbert. Wider once more. Loney. Down the line short. That's going to be okay. Finding Blake Acres. Just joined us, both sides coming in with pretty strong lineups, which was good to see. Liam Jones just continuing on from where he left off in 2017. It was an absolute revelation going down back.
He was. He had a really strong year. It's amazing the ability to read the ball behind the play, how that just suits some guys more than others. He spent most of his career as a forward and just never could find the footy. But all of a sudden you go back, you're behind the ball, the forward leads you to the contest in most situations, and from there you're just able to play. And he had a super year last year, really saved his career in a lot of respects.
Savage to Nunes, and speak of the devil, there he is again, smashing it over the boundary line.
12 games last year, but all of them were awesome. It was a strange resurrection for Liam Jones. Elite intercept mark, elite intercept possession numbers. Could have had a crack at an intercept mark there, but went the safe option. But the fact that he took the game on last year, took so many intercept marks, as I think more defenders will try and do in 2018, rather than just go the punch option. Try to get to the attack quicker than ever. Cripps allowed to play on with that free, although the umpire's now looking at it and bringing it back.
Well, you can't play on when no one knows which way the free kick's going to go. So going to give both teams a chance to adjust. It's interesting, we spoke about Paddy Cripps playing forward and some of the gun midfielders are playing forward. Jack Stevens spending quite a bit of time, particularly early in the game, up forward for the Saints.
I think they're also looking at Armitage too, Nick, perhaps going forward a little more.
He's Paddy Dow, their pick 3 in last year's draft, wearing the number 2 for the Blues. Off hands Lamb, had a look around to see what was around. Murphy squeezed it wide, right down there, good battle. Hit the ground quickly. Thomas flicks it out. Cripps tried to flick it back again. Gilbert cut off by right, tried to go off the deck, nearly took an eye and an ear, and got a free kick against him because of it. And lucky that's all it ended up being, just a free kick to Jack Steele,
who kicks long down towards Carlisle. Could have been a Falcon as well. Simpson did it nicely in the end. But the umpire's found a free kick. It's going to come back, and I think it will go to Simpson.
Yeah, not happy with a bit of the attention from David Armitage.
No.
It was really clever the way he did it. He knew he was about to get tackled, so he just took the ball, rode the bump really well, and mid-air dished the handball off. Armitage went on with it a little bit, but
Ump got him for a bit of a dump or sling tackle. Sporting a good shiner, isn't he?
Simpson could join the elusive 300 club this year if all goes well. There's a strong grab once again. Now this is Harry McKay, and a lot has been said about him performing up forward this year for the Blues as well.
Shown some good signs throughout pre-season. They know he's very good in the air, and we just saw an example of it there. Better judgment, marking over the top of teammate Levi Casbolt and a couple of St Kilda defenders. So really good pair of hands. Just confidence the world of good if he can just go back and slot it through. 200
centimetres, 95 kg, so he's a fair package. He's a left footer, and he guides that beautifully through for his first goal. And once again, the Blues extend their lead.
Well, I'd love seeing that, Blues fans. He's got big raps, as we see. Cade Simpson just ride the bump really clever, and
he didn't do much wrong.
I think might have been the second serve, but marking in a contested situation like this, 200 centimetres, probably underestimated just how big he is out there. But Charlie Curnow and Harry McKay, that's where their improvement is going to come from, Carlton. They're both first rounders back in 2015, so heading into your third year is about the time that you want to start making an impact for your football club as a first round draft pick. And gee, if both of those boys can get up and going, with Patrick Cripps rotating through the forward line as well, it'll start to look pretty dangerous for the Blues.
Yeah, pick 10 back in 2015, Harry McKay. Fisher attacked it, Cripps gathers it. It's followed him a bit in this opening quarter through Gilbert. Murphy about to pounce and turn. Beautiful bit of work gives it up to Dow. Let's see what he's got. He launches long, Breeze caught it, and out of play on the full from Paddy Dow, but at least he's getting his hands on it a couple of times. They're pick 3 in last year's draft.
We've seen Paddy Dow and Hunter Clark both have their first kicks in this first quarter, and just both a little bit rushed on both occasions, but as they play more footy and get more composed, you'll see them run and carry the footy a bit more.
That ball was really going backwards on the way down. He kicked it so high.
Copping a push out, Harry McKay, so he's got it just forward of the wing. Looks them inside 50, big pack of players, and they've got some guys now that can take a big clunk. We know Levi Casbolt and his record as far as marking, contested marking is concerned. Throw in Harry McKay, throw in Cripps, and calls for optimism.
Charlie Cannon, exactly.
Yeah.
But this is the bit we like to see. Now, he's improved out of sight doing some work with Savrock. I think from where he was to where he got to last year, it started to look a lot better. Should have another pre-season of work under his belt.
Well, you can see what he's got ahead of him. Starts it right. The Breeze is not really taking hold of that ball, did it? No. So one behind for the Blues. 33-6, so they certainly have dominated. Nathan Brown gets the hand pass away to Savage. He looks up towards centre wing. Now McCartan's a long way from home. Had front spot, waiting down his Armitage. He gets caught, tries to give it off to Seb Ross, who in turn gives it to McCartan. Get him out of the way, says Paddy, and he does. Gives it back to Seb Ross. Gets through some heavy traffic. Goes onto the left foot, goes out wide towards Loney. Can't keep it in play. And we'll have a throw-in with only seconds remaining in this first term. A good quarter for Carlton. Kicking with the Breeze, though. Cruiser shoved out of it in no uncertain fashion. Fisher, high ball in towards the middle, and Dylan Robin is waiting underneath as the siren sounds. Quarter time here at Ikon Park, and the home side Carlton kicking with the aid of a tricky Breeze, but a strong Breeze. They lead by 27 points, and as we look ahead...
Can they all play in the same team together? And if so, who plays on ball and who has to change their game style? I'm going to keep an eye on it.
Good on your neck. Saints kicking with the Breeze. Down 33-6. So second quarter underway. Longer and Cruiser won by the latter. Seb Ross tried to prevent any forward thrust, but Cruiser has other ideas. Second attempt there is really well. Gets the hand pass across to a teammate in Garda. He gets caught, goes to ground, and there will be a ball up.
Just on the observation Dell made about David Armitage, I think the other players that he was speaking about are Jack Steele, Luke Dunstan, Kobe Stevens. They're all the ones that are quite similar in the way they go about it.
Cruiser down towards half forward. McKay was a target, an opportunity still with the Blues through Garlett. And welcome to the goal kickers. Garlett gets his first.
It's been an interesting journey too for Jared Garlett, hasn't it? After being on the Gold Coast Suns for a few years, and I think he played 15 or 17 games up there, and then spending a year in the Waffle where he got back to enjoying his footy, and Carlton decided to take a chance on him. It was a very deep pick in the draft, pick 78, so he gets an opportunity, and if he shows that sort of goal craft, well, that's exactly what they're looking for. He mightn't get too many opportunities, but you've got to make them count as a small forward.
Well, he was a pick 15 back in 2014, so I presume on that score they knew he could play. Numbers weren't awesome in the Waffle last year, but as you mentioned, got back to playing some footy that he loved playing and enjoying his footy, and maybe that made all the difference. Ross with a clearance, high bomb, Membry under it, and Membry's marked it with a double grab.
Did he go the mark? Well, the punch from behind there, Liam Jones. That's an interesting one. Look forward to seeing that again, but this will be a time where there's no way knowing he'll play in front as much as he did in the first term, because the Breeze is going to make a lot of the balls carry further. But a good strong mark at the second attempt here from Tim Membry. I reckon he thought he had him worked underneath and then got himself in trouble. Jones.
He's undersized, Membry, at 188, but he does have an extraordinary vertical leap.
And a pretty good set shot accuracy last year, 64%, the fourth best in the AFL. And the Breeze didn't bother him too much there. They've got their second, the Saints.
And it was just a vertical leap there that undid Liam Jones. I think you're right, Josie. He did have him worked under the ball and had really good position on it, but his ability to plant and jump off 2 feet, Tim Membry, is... we saw him take a lot of contested marks like that last year, and And on this occasion, he was able to get it on the second grab, and he is a terrific set shot at goal.
What I liked about him was he kept pushing back, and even though Liam Jones looked at good position, he left him a little bit early to take the mark, and that was the time that then Membry pushed back again, body on body, and they're similar heights, and he was strong enough to just take the mark.
So Membry gets his first. He's been working on his running power over the summer. Cruiser couldn't get out of the middle. Stephen does. It's going to be okay. The kick now goes forward, courtesy of Jack Loney. Down towards half. Although Gresham was scouting, couldn't quite pick it up. Lost the footy, but he goes again. Opportunity now for O'Brien.
Copped one right on the chops, I think. The big spoil
Got
from
nothing
Jones. Well, I think it was the follow-through of the spoil. I think he got the spoil that he was after Liam Jones, but the follow-through might have ended up straight in the eye of the left eye, I think, of Paddy McCartney.
It's going to be an early test for him.
He's long. The free kick just gives it away and kicks in towards goal. Did Jones get a touch to it?
Gee.
And behind.
A little bit of claret from the nose. Let's have a look. The spoil comes through, gets the ball, and then the follow-through just collects him.
Yeah. Coming down onto the nose. But he's okay.
That's probably a good result, a bloody nose, to be honest. I mean, anytime you see
compared
someone
to concussion,
with that, well, that's right, with that sort of history, when they stay on the ground a little bit longer, you almost hope they get up with a bloody nose or something like that, because it's less likely to be a concussive episode.
Cruiser was the target. Cripps working hard. Cruiser once again. Cruiser and Cripps, they're an excitement machine, aren't they? Up towards centre wing, and the mark is taken there by Pickett. Blues are away. Pickett's away. One bounce, two bounces, running towards 50.
Keep
three
going.
bounces. Go Pickett. Have another one. Kicks into the man on the mark. Still had support, however. Loses it now. Fisher had it for a moment. So too Garlett. But in the end, the umpire comes in and says, sorry, Blues, your run has finished. It's a St Kilda free.
Gee, that's exciting. I know it didn't amount to anything, but I mean, Jared Pickett just looked back at a couple of guys chasing. One was Luke Dunstan, and then the other was Jaron Geary, and he just thought, no, I'm happy to back myself pace-wise.
Yeah, should have had the full bounce rule there. If you've had 4 bounces, you've got a right to have a shot.
Absolutely.
Nunes pokes it back outside. Here's McCartan's first attack at it since getting that smack in the nose. The umpires haven't seen the blood, but it's good to see that he looks like he feels okay after a smack to the head.
He's a bit flowing. I'm surprised the umps haven't deemed that to need a clean-up.
Back into play this breeze. If you've just joined us, blowing St Kilda's way in this quarter. Kennedy, who started the game well. Armitage just in time. Dunstan inside, and Jones. Another intercept mark, pick-off mark. Kick was superb to Cruiser, to Cripps. Got a couple of long options. One of them is Casbolt, who's still there. Curnow sees him, sits it on Casbolt's head. Good one-on-one. Knocked straight down to Charlie Curnow. Oh, he tried the shake and bake, but it didn't work. Carlisle read his eyes.
He actually picked up a really good front and square, but then he didn't have the right options running past, and he got... Here we go. We've got a blood rule here. And this will be Paddy coming off. Yeah, a bit of communication between the umpires here. Get that nose cleaned up. Put himself in a really good position, Charlie Curnow, but then it was just the decision-making once he got the ball.
Carlisle across half-back. Nudged over the 100-game mark last season. We'll be keen to build on that. The Simpson hand pass is okay for Carlton. Opportunity now for Cunningham. Left the ground early in the first quarter, but is okay, and that's good news for the Blues. Right, once again, Cunningham. Thought about going on to the left, but then pokes it wide towards Fisher. He loses it. Now the race is on. Well done in the end. Good defensive work by young Caulfield. The new boys for the Saints, and they're out of trouble. Up towards the half.
Oh.
Bang! Copping a heavy one was Jack Sinclair.
Might be a 50 here, you'd think.
Oh, gee.
Kick reversed very quickly.
Well, there was one there that certainly could have reversed it. Now they've come from everywhere. A lot of jumper pulling. And
let it go. Let it go.
So plays continue.
Come on, guys.
They just let it go.
well, it has. It's down on half forward. Dylan Robertson's in real trouble. O'Brien defends for the Blues. Pokes it out wide. And they should get out of trouble courtesy of Kerno.
Everyone else was watching the 20 or so players having a little bit of a stouch.
Well, when there's more players in the stouch than out of it, you tend to have your focus there.
They tend to break up pretty quickly, those in JLT. No match payments. You don't want to cop a fine.
Or do a Robbie Gray and miss round one. Thomas inside 50. Does well, right. He's got the runner.
Look at this.
And here it is. First goal for Paddy Dow. And he loved it. Doesn't matter that it's JLT. Take him any way you can get him right now.
He's excited, Paddy Down, entitled to be his fourth possession, realised the goal. There's plenty of niggle out there, bit of sledging. Daisy's an old hand at it. He doesn't mind giving a little bit of lip.
Old teammates there.
It actually looked worse than it was. And he's not a malicious sort of person, Casey. He's going, what's all the fuss about? But then teammates like to come in and fly the flag. This is as easy a goal as you'll get. He's running into a nice open goal, but he's on the board, Paddy Down.
2 goals into the breeze, handy for the Blues. They continue to hold an impressive lead, 7-3 to 2-1. Saints have just got a couple of goals so far with the breeze in this quarter. Longer read it, but then tried to get it at the second attempt. He does. Now he's got a problem. Silvani ties it up.
Billy longer. Billy longer. Holding the man. Billy longer.
Giving away the free kick by the looks of it. Big Billy calling for it.
Back on. Stay on.
Gives it away. The Saints go forward. Long kick in towards half forward. Plenty of depth from Webster, and that's off the ground, but away to the right and through for one behind. Jack Stephen will be looking for a big year.
Yeah, he will certainly be looking on an improvement on last year. He struggled a lot last year with hamstring tendonitis, which really affected his speed. And for a player like him who relies on his explosiveness out of stoppage, that limited him quite severely.
Well, you take him and Armo out, and he could certainly have limited the club.
There's a really interesting article on Jack Stephen where he was quoted as saying everyone was telling him how badly he was going, but he didn't think he was going that badly. It's just that he didn't have that explosive speed that tends to stick out more.
Yeah, all Australian, if he can produce his absolute best. Dunstan,
absolutely.
little 1-2 with Longer to Savage. Almost a trip from Byrne. Handball back towards where he thought he had a teammate. Wanted the trip, didn't get it. Handballed it out of play almost deliberately in the end. Got away with it and will get a ball in.
And probably a victim of his own high standards, Jack Stephen, as well. He'd won 3 out of the past 4 best and fairest, so he was up and about before that. But back to full fitness now by all reports.
Back into play. Casbolt doing some tap work. Akers plucked it, but it'll be coming back. And Cripps was held off the ball by Dunstan. And just off the bench, Lamb. So walked straight through the interchange gate, got himself a touch, and that freed up Kennedy, who has looked good in the Blues jumper. Hands it off to Ed Curnow, tucked up against the boundary, bumped out of play. Cruiser, Casbolt, Thomas, all down there. Locked in, just a dark pocket there.
Yeah, a few of the lights on top of that office block down that end have gone out, I think, so it's a little darker than it should be.
But in Carlton's attacking zone, into the breeze. One by Cruiser. Webster tries to get it out. Chance now for Akers. Blake Akers defends wide to Loney. He goes through the middle to Ross. Now they're away. One bounce. It's going to be okay. Nunes has a look forward. Where's Jones? There he is once again. He's like the Rock of Gibraltar. Jack Stephen had absolutely no chance. He goes wide to Marchbank. Now the Blues are away to the outer side of the ground. Curnow takes the mark. In towards the middle of the ground. Lamb was there. Gets an effective hand pass, but it goes to the wrong jumper on that occasion.
Or a high tackle. Gee, that was good positioning from Liam Jones because he had an unusual opponent in Jack Stephen, and he took away the ability of Stephen to lead where he could use his pace.
So 45 plays, 14, 10 and a half minutes remaining in the first half. Loney had it, but only for a moment. Now picked up and snapped that goal. It's only one behind. So a disappointment for Jack Nunes.
In that situation where Liam Jones is taking the front space, it's incumbent on the kicker to just kick it to a side, particularly to a player like Jack Stephen, where you know he's going to beat him at ground level. The last thing you want to do is just put it on his head. Liam Jones will win that contest every time.
We saw him forward in the first term. He spent plenty of time. We saw him deep, actually, goal square forward there as well. So interesting. Just trying him a little bit forward as well and easing his workload.
Byrne, Fisher and Cunningham combining to run it out of defence. That kick poor. Clean ball, Geary, good enough and had the time and awareness to just gather it and show some poise. Robertson got it back inside. Little fumble from Clark, but it is his first game as a youngster coming in. Fend off, Cunningham, Loney wrapped him up, could have been ball, and it is ball.
Well, I have to compliment the Carlton defence to this point. They're holding a really strong 6 defenders, so if one of the half forwards come up for the Saints, they don't get dragged up with him. They don't get towed around like a caravan. They hold their strong 6, and hence someone like Liam Jones is able to roll off his direct opponent and impact that next contest.
Ordinary old kick from Matt Weller. Just a big tumble punt.
So Simpson will bring it back into play. Goes to himself. Gains probably 7 or 8 metres before letting go towards Casbolt, but it's going to drop short. Had a teammate there in Kennedy, but he couldn't complete the mark. Almost thrown out on that occasion by Fisher, but it comes down towards centre wing. Trapped by Thomas. Got a call from the side from Cripps, and he accepted it. Cripps gives it away to Murphy. Murphy goes further afield to Pickett. Now they go down the line. Opportunity for Silvani. Murphy's still running, but Akers is there with him now. Akers does really well. Gives it off to Steele. Steele's hand pass is going to test Carlisle. He lumbers away. Goes to the outer side of the ground. Marchbank is there. Bang! Down goes Membry. Picks himself up. But it's going to be a free kick going against him.
Yeah, no problem.
Marchbank, yeah.
I mean, he's entitled to go back for the ball, Marchbank. He's got his eyes on the footy all the way. He's entitled to back in there, so there's no tunnelling of the player at all.
In towards forward. That's a good, strong mark. Taken by Lockie Plowman. Good courage, wasn't it?
Yeah, great courage. And he's not a small man, Jake Carlisle. He's just as courageous as they come.
He's copped one too. I reckon he's got the knees come off a little winded, but now I always like watching defenders kicking for goal too, Roy. You see how much time they've actually spent practicing.
Well, he's kicked one in his career.
It was a good one though, Sam.
Oh, he still remembers it. Go on, Lockie. See what you can do. 45-degree angle. 45 metres from home. That punt goes across the face of goal and is hammered defensively out the back for one behind.
See a bit stiff and sore, Jake Carlisle, just hands on hips.
Yeah, plenty of rotations allowed, unlimited interchange, so you'd think he'd have a spell at some stage in this last 7 minutes now to get his breath back. Marchbank did well, took the mark to try and set it up. Had his pocket picked by Stephen, opened it up nicely. It's looked pretty good. Clark at times to set this up nicely. Shake and bake from Ross was good. Now Gilbert's waiting for the handball if McCartan can get it. Just saying, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. He's got it, and he wastes it. And the fall.
It's a wasted opportunity. Gone absolute big. I mean, it was a poor kick coming into McCartan, and then the hand pass actually put Gilbert on the back foot, but he didn't handle that very well.
Carlisle can't run it. This cruiser was tunnelled, still good enough to take the mark. Akers had that height disadvantage. Chip kick to the middle of the ground from Mullet was okay to set it up. They want to play the corridor if they can. They've got the speed, which is good to see. Pickett, low, Casbolt, hands and knees. Tried to knock it out to Charlie. He's got 3 to beat Charlie.
Well done.
Absolutely. Got it inside. Back to Mullet. He's cooked. His previous effort had all his beans spent. Handball back out to Steele. He goes wider to Dunstan. McCartan's over the top for a little one. He ignores it. Goes to the goal square where it's a 2 Blues on 1 Sinclair situation. Still a chance, keeps his feet. Turns inside. And the shot at goal is good from Clark. Showed some awareness there.
This is what Alan Richardson had to say at quarter time.
Too many marks. Too easily one-on-one where we either pushed out the way or just completely in contest. So we've got to make sure we get that right. And I reckon on a high ball, we can be much more assertive in terms of looking to lead their man and get across and help. That's something we want to be really good at. Robbo, where are you? They're not going to you either. So we'll look to free up Robbo. Robbo, I want you to have the balance of give us some support and then look forward and be aggressive. Okay?
We've got to get this right, boys. We've got to get this right, the contest. We're getting positive in that.
St Kilda opening the doors at quarter time. Good to hear Alan Richardson as we go back into the middle after that goal. Armitage.
It was a lucky goal in the end, Sandy. I thought it was a really poor option from Luke Dunstan going inside. He had the simple chip over the top to Paddy McCartan, but he ended up kicking to a 1-on-2. Fortunately, the ball came to ground and they were able to kick the goal.
Armo's away. Straight down the middle, in towards half forward. McCartan was in the pack. Cruiser was waiting down in front. He has the support he needed in Wright, who goes wide. Flick toward Gala. Now a little chip across towards half forward. Dow's kicked the goal, but Paddy gets caught well and truly on this occasion by Ben Long.
Taken high, I think.
Was he?
Yep.
Yeah, well, you're right, he has, so he's got the footy. 70 metres out, just pops it up the top. Oh, big fly, all to no avail. Gresham's hand pass okay. The Saints should get out of trouble. Back towards Long, who just kicks around the body. That's okay. Now he's got to wait for people to make position, McCartan. He does. Then he goes Long. Now Weller's going to have to do something here. Who's out the back? No one at all, as that ball slams into the woodwork for one behind. As we go down to the boundary line. And Nick Del Santo with a special guest in T. Membry.
I am joined by the big skunk. Big contest there on centre wing. Winded, Corky.
Nah, a little bit winded, but a bit surprised didn't get a free kick then.
I think you gave away a free kick actually, so it was not good at all. How have you found a quarter and a half in? How have you found the lungs?
No, it's been pretty good. Obviously, you blow up a bit early, but I think after the quarter time break, guys start settling down a bit, so it's good to have a good hit out.
And one of the big questions for St Kilda supporters is the forward-line structure. There's a man upstairs, Nick Rewalt, that is no longer there. Can it work with 3, or does it need to work with 2 talls?
No, look, I think it can work with 3. I guess also depending on matchups that week, but I think it can work with 3. Give us more targets down there. So yeah.
And your role, pushing up the ground, you still happy with that, or you feel like you'd prefer to be a little bit closer?
No, I do like getting up the ground, getting that exit sort of ball coming up, and then setting us up going forward. But when I'm required to go forward and kick some goals, that's what I'll try and do.
Well, we appreciate your time. I know we've taken up a little bit. That's your rest on the bench. You're back on. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you to the St Kilda Football Club for access to the skunk.
You can't be happy with that nickname, the big skunk.
Oh, I heard plenty worse.
True.
Skunk's not too bad on the scale of nicknames.
So Gresham gets the shot.
Yeah, defensive slip up from Liam Jones. He just got himself in a bit of bother and couldn't find a way out.
Has had some problems with his goal kicking. Opens up the angle and spears that straight over the goal umpire's hat. He'll be happy with that. The Saints get one back late in the half.
We just heard them discussing the potential forward make-up for the Saints, whether it's going to be 2 talls or 3, and it is a copycat league, and Richmond really at times last year only had 1. We saw Josh Caddy play that second tall role, so I expect the Saints to play with 2 talls this year. They've been trialling it a lot at training in the intra club, and Tim Membry's the most dynamic of the forward group down at St Kilda and led the goal kicking the past 2 years. He's kicked 82 majors, so he takes 1 spot, and then really the second spot will fall to McCartan, Bruce, Marshall, Battle, one of those. So,
well, we saw Josh Bruce in the early game, didn't we? Take a couple of nice marks.
Yeah, and he's just coming back from a knee injury, so I'm sure he'll get a run next week.
Casbolt giving Cruiser a bit of a spell. Tap away initially from Paddy Dow. Saints have only kicked a couple with the breeze in this turn, so they've got to get their skates on with just under 3 minutes remaining. Savage to send them forward. He goes directly to half forward. Oh, great opportunity was missed by McCartan. They've still got a chance though with the ball locked up in that area. Casbolt works hard, needs support, gets it now in the form of Marchbank, swings around tucked in the back pocket, then comes back towards the half back line. Billy Longer's there and he takes it on the chest. Longer plays on, penetrating kick inside 50 once again. Casbolt in from the back with a fist, intent on spoiling and doing a good job, and Curnow taken over the line by Jack Loney.
You mentioned that opportunity missed for Paddy McCartan. There's a great opportunity tonight for him to play well enough to make sure he's playing the next JLT game. You get a couple of good performances on, and then he probably starts as that second tall forward. I think he got surprised by the lack of contact. It was an uncontested mark.
Absolutely. I'm thinking the lights are a little tricky here as well. Some are on, some are off. It is a little dark in patches as Savage can crank a big long ball. He goes all the way home, touched on the line. People are behind. It looks good on the TV.
Yeah, we've got beautiful filters on the Fox cameras, but Yeah, trust me, here it's quite dark, isn't it?
Indeed it is. We won't go on about it. Couple of minutes remaining in the half. Saints desperately needing a couple of goals. Kick back into play. Savage will take that on the chest. So he'll send the Saints back into attack. He thought about going short in the corridor. Now goes back. And will go longer. High ball. The pack slowly develops. It's going to be the Blues who are able to clear that. Ricochets away. It wasn't a good kick. It was almost more an attempted sock off the ground. Cripps waiting for it. And geez, like lightning, just flicked it out to accommodate a teammate. Now McKay can go over the top. Curnow a chance to clear. McKay's still running. Why not hand pass instead of that funny little kick? Still going. Now he gets caught. Good tackling by Webster. Blues not out of strife yet. Hand pass a little low on that occasion for Lockie O'Brien. He's got support, however, through Curnow, who kicks it down to his namesake, who check sides it. High ball. Which way is it going to sit for Wright? Not well. Akers is there for St Kilda. He's got to beat a couple. In fact, he's got to beat 3. He can't beat 3. And the man kicks the goal. And that's Matthew Wright.
It was pretty scrappy play, really, from the centre wing here right in front of the commentary box all the way down to the goal square. I don't think anyone really had a clean possession. It was just a matter of edging the ball forward, laying off little handballs to each other's feet, and resulted in a really easy goal, but nothing all that clean for Carlton. But performed really strongly into the breeze, Jason. We thought at quarter time it was probably a 4 or 5 goal win, but they've just about gone goal for goal with St Kilda this quarter.
It's a goal against the run of play, though. The Saints have had so much play that they just haven't capitalised on, and it's opened up a very handy break for the Blues.
Inside the last minute, good ball up. Cruiser attacked it, got the palm down, but couldn't get the clearance in the end. Akers got it to Stephen, spent it before it earned it. Same Daisy Thomas had it, but fumbled it away. Jack Stephen on hands and knees. Little chip kick is okay from Clark. Cross. They're attacking 50. Loney inside 50. Delightful delivery. Obviously, Nunes was running into the hole, and the last shot at goal for the half as Paddy Dow heads down to the rooms early. Nick D'Alessandro will keep us in touch with any news there for one of the Blues' new recruits. They picked 3 from last year's draft. Wasn't expected to be a top 10 until his stunning under-18 carnival performance. Paddy Dow. Siren sounds. Jack Nunes. The Saints finish this quarter strong. Breeze brings it back, but nowhere near enough. And the Blues in the opening JLT Community Series game against the Saints looking fairly strong, hoping to make some sort of claim for a top 8 spot if they have a good season in 2018, both these teams. And maybe with a change in style under Brendan Bolton, not so much a defence first style, but a defence built on attack, and a couple of key position players like Curnow, McKay and Casbolt that can take a big contested mark. They might get it forward a little more quicker than they did last year, where they did play a little keepings off and time wasting footy on occasion.
Jack Billings, who is wearing a hat for a reason, I'm not quite sure, because we need goggles or glasses at the moment because it is getting a little bit dark down here, so we'll keep an eye on that throughout the game. You're obviously not playing tonight. Why? Please explain.
Yeah, had a bit of a sore hammy the last couple of weeks, so just been a little bit modified, but it's all good, and hopefully play next week.
If not next week, definitely round 1.
Yeah, hopefully. Had a good pre-season, so yeah, should be all good.
As the play comes right behind us. Where do you see yourself playing this year? We've touched on numerous times about the St Kilda midfield.
Yeah.
You would have been someone that I thought starts half forward and rolls into the midfield. Is that a possibility, or because there is so many options, you're playing half forward?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the aim. I really enjoy sort of playing a mixture of both, but hopefully this year my midfield time's a lot more, and yeah, it's just about when I'm in there, I guess, doing well and putting my hand up so I get more opportunity, but I'd definitely like that balance, and hopefully can do that this year.
Has there been a different focus for the St Kilda Footy Club with a game plan or philosophy, probably off what the Richmond Football Club did last year?
I think not anything specific. I think just generally over the summer we've been working on our defensive game plan, so making that a real focus. We've got a young side, so we're really trying to develop that, and hopefully we can see some improvements this year, and obviously being a bit more accurate in front of goal, which would be nice.
Well, that's the main one. That's my final question. Can the Saints improve their goal kicking? You've got Ben Dixon to help with your set shots, and it's an area in particular you can work on. Is it going to turn around this year?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, Dicko's been great over summer. We've all been working very closely with him and put a lot of time into it, so hopefully we can see the benefits this year and keep it straighter.
Well, fingers crossed, all the very best, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Dale. Cheers.
So out of play, Nick Rewalt, your thoughts?
Yeah, he had a great year last year, Jack Billings, and led the team in score involvement, score assist. But it was a 23 goals, 36 that I think ultimately probably cost him All-Australian selection. That's how strong a year he had. It was almost a preeminent small forward in the competition. So the Saints will have their fingers crossed that Hammy is okay come round one, because he's so incredibly important to the makeup of the team.
Yeah, those numbers need to be 40 goals, 20. Yep. And then all of a sudden, as well as probably making All-Australians, probably winning a game or two for the Saints.
Yeah, particularly given how well he kicks the ball with his field kicking. He's a beautiful kick of the footy.
Carlisle cuts it off at half-back to Savage. Short pass to Webster. Heads to the outer side. There's a one-on-one out there that he obviously liked. Membry attacks it hard. Kept it in front. Did brilliantly, really. And a couple of options to go back to. The man who gave it to him initially, Webster, was one of them. Here for the record, the Saints' first game, Brisbane at Etihad Stadium. A twilight game that they'll be looking forward to getting off to the perfect start with. And the Blues' first game, obviously, against the Tigers in the opening game of the home and away season. Membry around the body to half forward, and Jones, easy pick off mark and gone. Good tackle, Armitage dragged him down and gets the result.
It's a good chase from behind. He was off to the races, thought he was home. Liam Jones thought he attacked the footy and had space, but David Armitage, a terrific chase.
McCartan on Simpson here.
Armitage, and that's where they're heading, down towards McCartan and Simpson. Simpson leads in the race for the ball. He's still going. He's got to beat a couple here. Now has a problem, loses it. Well done by Jack Stephen. Clever little chip in towards goal. Is away to the left and through for one behind. You mentioned Brisbane in that first round for St Kilda. Going to be a very interesting game, because I don't think Brisbane are going to be as poor as they were last year.
No, I think they've got great depth through the midfield, Brisbane, and any time the team's able to run the sort of players. You know, Christensen's essentially a new recruit for them, so yeah, I think they'll definitely improve.
Murphy kicks down towards centre wing. Brown is waiting there, goes inboard to Gilbert. Sam Gilbert onto that left foot. I was going to say trusty left foot, but it wasn't on that occasion. He was looking for Membry, didn't find him. Fisher defends for Carlton. Chips wide towards Cripps. He goes back towards Cunningham. He goes back to Cripps again. They've got themselves in a little bit of a hole there. Now Paddy Dow, who kicked the goal in the second quarter, comes in as well. Curnow working hard, but tackled by three. It was tough. Nunes takes it now, gives it away towards a teammate there in Weller. Weller's kick is wide, but it's taken by the breeze and goes flying into the fence out on the full.
It's a couple of pretty average kicks from Mav Weller tonight. Hasn't had a lot of the ball, just the 4 possessions. Lucky he didn't have more serious damage to that right ankle getting trapped under there.
Yeah, he had the ankle all last year, actually, so that really restricted him. He probably should have missed 4 or 5 weeks with an ankle and only missed the one and carried it through the rest of the year. So
it's amazing when you've got a sore spot how often you can find it, Rui.
Might be one of the reasons why his last couple of kicks have been a little shonky. O'Brien did well, got it to Byrne, to Simpson. Back to Byrne with that run. Just slick off half-back. That looked brilliant. If they can finish it off to Cruiser. Gathered, didn't take the mark. It's a black out to Dow, had a crack wide, and it's on the full.
What about the Cruiser pickup? 200-centimetre ruckman, unbelievable agility.
It's almost getting better with age, isn't he, the player?
Webster back into play, relatively short. McCartan's a long way from home. Garlett's smothered him like a blanket.
I like that he's hitting up across half-back though, Paddy. Sometimes as a full forward, particularly a young player, you can just wait for the game to come to you a little bit deep in the forward line, but he's getting up across half-back, providing an option, trying to get himself involved in the game. It's a good sign.
And especially when your team's kicking into the breeze, you've got to hunt up looking for the footy.
Armitage to Gresham has a somewhat tentative bounce. Armo kept going and got Jack Stephen running as well. This looks promising. His kick in towards Membry is good, and Tim Membry, go back now, just 25, 30 metres out, directly in front, should be able to convert for the Saints.
Had options everywhere. They actually had more forwards streaming forward than Carlton had defenders, but probably the best option being this man here that we know so adept in front of goals.
Kicking for his second. And the Saints to remain within striking distance. Into the breeze. Steady approach, no problem there. And Membry's got his second. Kicked one in the second term. And St Kilda moved to within 14 points.
It's just really aggressive ball movement off half-back on that occasion. We've seen both teams really look at their most dangerous when they're able to run and link with handball through the middle of the ground and really get out the back of the defenders. That from both teams seem to be wanting to play in front a lot more.
No culmination in a winner for the JLT Community Series, just 2 games per team. But a win is a win for confidence, and the Saints will come home with the breeze in the last quarter here at Ikon Park in this one. Cruiser gets up high. Good clearance from Dow. Short pass is just as good. Lace out to Casbolt. Delightful.
That is a dart, isn't it?
That was beautiful.
Shades of Jarman to Dunstall.
Oh, nice. Speaking of which, we talked about Jason, how many goals here.
Oh, you've delved in?
Well, I had a bit of a look. He kicked 4 bags of a dozen, 1 bag of 14 and 1 bag of 17. You do remember where your 17 was, don't you?
It was at Waverley, mate, not here.
Just ask him where it was. You couldn't remember your 10s here. Long kick towards goal is superb. Good movement, great finish from the Blues.
See a lot of the players getting over to Paddy Down. He's had a smile on his face from the moment he's run out in the ground tonight. He's enjoying himself. You just see him circling around the back, sees the loose ball at ground level, picks it up, and then just straight forward. You could not ask for a better kick as a forward, leading straight at the ball, right out in front of the eyes. And it's not easy to kick the ball that low when you're running it at pace.
Sometimes for these games, it's the recruiters that are the most nervous people, because they've gone out and they've spent a top 10 draft pick on these kids, and it only takes one thing: clean below the knees, explodes out of the stoppage, hits him lace out. That one piece of play will be justifying in their minds the top 10 pick that they spent on Paddy Dow.
Their heads are on the chopping block. There's no doubt about that. Dunstan ripped it out of the middle for St Kilda down towards the half-forward line. Can they answer? The margin at the moment is 28 points. Membry's got it. He gets a little ground. That'll be okay. And charge will come from almost the middle of the ground. Inside 50 once more. McCartan's a flyer, and he takes the mark. So starting to assert some authority here. Paddy McCartan can go back. Again, distance not a problem.
And he had the right position this time. He's the one that's in front of the pack.
Yeah.
And the ball drops a little short. You can see the rest of them queuing up to fly. A little bit of work done off the ball by the young fellow. There was very good, Hunter Clark.
25 out, directly in front. Goal umpire barely moves. He's got another one. McCartan's got 2 as we go down to Nicky Dell, who's got the reigning club champion with him.
I sure do. Seb Ross has been kind enough to join us, and he's taken a few breaths, but he's also said, I've got to go back on soon, so I only get one quick question. What was the message at half-time, and what are the objectives in the second half?
We just thought the first half was a little scrappy around the contest. We're getting our hands on the footy, but then we're just a little bit fumbly and they were running away with it. And then, as you know, they've got some big players out there. We're just getting beaten on that pump play a little bit. So just sharpening up around those 2 areas, and we should be in good nick.
And you personally, part of the leadership group, have you been able to take another step with on-ground leadership to assist the boys that are a bit younger and still learning the game?
Yeah, I think so. And guys like Hunter Clark and Nick Caulfield are going to need that sort of leadership. And I suppose it's pretty much forced with the runner not being able to be out there as much. So us guys really have to spread the messages out there.
What is the next step for this football club in regards to being able to make finals? Where do you find the improvement will come from?
Just that messaging along the lines of consistency. So last year we would play some really good footy, and then the next week we'd probably peter out a bit. The classic examples, the Richmond round 16, and then Essendon the following week we got smashed by 60 points. So just cleaning up that consistency.
Paul, there's been a couple of good passages of play now while you've been on the bench. Time for you to get back out there.
Thanks, Dale.
Well done, Seb. Thank you.
Yeah, a couple of young players involved there, one of them being Lockie O'Brien, the pick 10 in last year's draft for the Blues, who hurried it a little, turned it over, and now we've got Hunter Clark lining up for the Saints. They're pick 7 in last year's draft. Great all-round numbers as a junior, can get it contested, can get it uncontested, and he's got a couple of goals in this one, and the Saints continue to come hard.
It's exciting to see your young players, and in particular your high draft picks, just feeling comfortable at the level so early on. See a few issues there for Brendan Bolton as the Saints start to assert their authority in this game. But
I think he wants to win.
I'm not sure about Lockie O'Brien there. Maybe he didn't see Tim Membry. He might have been hiding in one of the shadows out there. But unfortunately, that turnover has resulted in the shot for goal for Hunter Clark. And very accomplished in front of goal. Made it look very, very easy. You can see he gets plenty of the ball. Can play inside and outside. So very much on an upward spiral. A little quiet at the under-18 champs. I don't think it's going to bother too many people.
2 goals tonight, though. Certainly signals his arrival, which is great. Always great to see youngsters coming into the game and watch their progress. Dunstan out of the middle to Ross. Gets underneath the high ball, kicks up towards Membry, who just couldn't get the reach for it. In the thick of things once again was O'Brien. He might get a free kick this time. He's going to. Let's see what he can do this time. Looks to go laterally. And does to Daisy Thomas, who's tucked in the pocket, juggles the mark. Wants to play on, but has got to go back.
You can't shepherd the man on the mark.
Yeah. So take 2 for Daisy. Heads straight in the same direction once more. Up towards the half-back line, towards Kennedy, the former Giant. Couldn't take the mark. They drifted towards centre wing. Whoopsie daisy. Pickett.
Needed to go with the 2 hands, Jared Pickett.
Kennedy again. Needs assistance. Now Jack Stephen. Look at him. Foot on the accelerator and away he goes. Inside 50 all of a sudden the Saints. McCartan one grab. Marchbank has other ideas. Steadies with a clearing hand pass. Blues should get out of trouble. But they do. Interesting little backside torpedo. What was that?
It's a lazy kick. Well,
a lazy kick.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he had confidence after his other left foot kick missed the target, so he went with the banana. And pretty ordinary.
Savage down towards half forward once again, just inside the 50. Thomas on all fours. Murphy gives the hand pass to Marchbank. His kick is partly smothered. Out on the full.
Yep, just shanked it.
Kicked it into the lower leg, I think.
Anyway, it's going to be Jack Loney who's got it outside 50. A high ball to the top of the square. Big pack of players. Membry was the high fly, but he couldn't complete it. Now an opportunity for the Blues through Fisher. High ball, straight to Savage.
Working their way back into this one nicely. Just repeating, they're coming home with the breeze, the Saints, in the final quarter. And almost every Blue back inside defensive 50, trying to crowd it up, and Dale Thomas takes almost an uncontested mark. Let's see if he can find a target with the kick. Told to go, had to wait for his teammates to spread. Get forward a little. Good pluck in the end by Cripps, reliable hands. And he blasts it. Heads to half forward. Oops. Through Lamb's hands. Still a chance to pick up on the run. Goes back, gets it, caught. Charlie Curnow. Not a lot of players around for him to find. Found Silvani. No one's in the square. Bends it around if he gets the bounce. Didn't bend it enough. Only a behind.
Just watch this phone here, Bolts.
I'm not sure he's happy with what he's seen since half-time. They played a very, very good first half, but they haven't been able to find the same standard in the second half.
Kick in not good for Nathan Wright.
I mean, they made a hash of that last century as well. It was a good kick. Jed Lamb did the good body work and then drops the simple mark.
It's a couple inside 50 now. He's had an opportunity to hang on to.
Caulfield across the ground to Savage. Just keeps it in play for the moment. Sneaks around Kennedy, goes short, that's okay. 7 minutes remaining in this third term. That's going to be chopped off. Cripps always dangerous. High ball in towards the forward region. Carlton fans are not happy. And now they are, because they've got the free kick. Matthew Wright, I think, is going to be taking it. It was Jimmy Webster who infringed, and Wright will go back and kick for his second.
Yeah, just panicked a little bit there, Jimmy Webster. I think he just lost sight of the ball, and as Wright went to make his move, he got him around the collar there and ripped him to the ground. So it's a bad feeling as a defender when you're not quite sure where the ball is and the forward's on the move trying to get to the dangerous space.
He's a goal kicker, booted 30 last year and split them with that kick. That's his second. He kicked one in the second term, so the Blues continue to hold this handy lead, a margin of 15 points with 6.5 minutes remaining.
He's also playing a smaller opponent, I guess, and just his eyes were actually looking for the ball, but he just allowed the arms to dangle there, and they wrapped around the neck of Matty Wright. Does have a knack of kicking goals, though, doesn't he? He's been very consistent since coming over the Crows.
Every game in the 2 seasons since he was recruited. With a great one-on-one ball-winning record as well. Back in the middle, Cruiser. Little flick down against Gilbert, but it's Armitage that gets the clearance. The Leeds fan wide, just flick away towards Dunstan. Turns inside, needs to find a target. Didn't like what he saw. McCartan blasts at top of the square. Hopes he's got an option down there. Crummer will do. Gresham pushed in the back, and he'll get the free for about 30 out for an instant reply.
Boys, 10 metres. You've got the free kicks in Kilda. You've got the free kicks. Walk away.
Sometimes a dump kick just to the top of the square is the most dangerous kick in footy, because you give yourself a chance of winning it in the air, and if not at ground, bring your ground levels in, players into play, and Gresham's certainly very, very adept at doing that.
His kicks are inside 30, a lot better from outside 30. Last year had 33 shots for just 9 goals, and it's one of his flaws in his game. His goal kicking, he'll be disappointed with that.
Strange run up. He ran way right of the target and then hooked it right across his body.
Cade Simpson again to himself. And they'll sneak out of that last line of defence through handball before heading towards McKay, but it was poorly directed, and Billy Longer takes the mark. McKay the man on the mark, but he goes laterally. Now Savage almost on the wing. Thought about changing, making the switch, but now goes back and kicks directly down towards half forward. Loney got steamrolled. Fisher over the line. Gresham there as well. And we've got a throw out.
Wasn't afraid of the contact, Matty Kennedy. He just ran straight into the tackle and said, well, there's nowhere else I can go, so I'm just going to run straight at you.
He's hard at it, no doubt about that. That's one thing Carlton likes about him.
AFL Supremo Gil McLaughlin in the crowd.
And if he brought his light meter.
I don't think he'd be impressed.
No. Cripps just again having a little bit of a jostle with his opposing number 9 in Jack Steele. Nothing in that. Akers there as well. Jack Stevens around the vicinity. And we've got a throw. Cruiser. Armitage to Stephen. It sits. Garlett gets him. What a ripping tackle as he takes him over the line.
Great tackle.
He's hurt himself.
He's popped a shoulder out, I think. And popped a shoulder.
Yeah. You can say straight away shoulder. But a tremendous tackle. Stephen took him on. And Garlett got him.
That's what you wanted to see from the young fellows, attacking the tackle and having a crack, but unfortunately the shoulder issue to deal with now.
Yeah, Nick Dalsato downstairs will keep us in touch with the latest there. Let's hope he's okay. Caulfield did okay there. Pull back towards the wing. Good trap by Murphy. Just as good a tackle as well by Clark. kept it in the area. Clark did brilliantly, picked it up and ran. And Lee Montagne's old number 11 and flicked it wide. And Stephen takes the mark. They've retired your 12, have they, Rui? They haven't given that to anybody just yet?
Not this year.
And fair enough too. Carlisle holds it up, 3.5 minutes left. Flicks it back to Savage, who took on and beat in the end the Chaser Pickett. Stephen, a bit of keepings off at the moment. All the Blues flooding back, so why bomb it long to the nest of them?
50 metres here.
Okay, well that'll do. It worked for them. Rather than just blasting it and kicking it to the 18-man zone, they get a chance to have a shot at goal from 48.
Well, boys,
Harry McKay. Sorry, go ahead, Dale.
Gartlett's walking past right now. He's actually having a laugh with a few people in the front row, so he's in good spirits. He's got the right shoulder strapped and the left knee strapped. He was holding his left shoulder, so it actually looks like he was okay. Not too serious. Definitely didn't see the shoulder pop out of the socket or anything like that.
Oh, that'll be a good result.
Absolutely. Savage from 48 to pull them closer with 3 minutes left, and then the breeze in the last term. Pulled it across the face, marking contest. McCartan almost plucked it from the pack and hassled through by Casbolt, and they'll take that, the Blues, for sure.
.52 plays 65 if you have just joined us. A breezy old night here in Melbourne at a 13-point ball game. Carlton shot away early to a 27-point advantage in the first term, but since then the Saints have worked hard to peg them back. There's a kicking in danger almost. Went unnoticed. Their pass is wide. Gee, going in over the top was Blake Acres. Players allowed to go on. And Carlton drifted down towards right half forward. Dunstan is there for the Saints. Gives a little ground, gave it to Webster. Now they're out of trouble. In towards the middle. Flicked out the back. Look at that. Cruiser. Well done. He's had a good night. Carlton looking to extend the lead. It bounces towards goal, but it's away to the right and through for one behind. Oh, look at this tackle on Long.
That's a good tackle.
That's a ripping Cade Simpson tackle. 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Saints would dearly love another one here to stay within, well, gettable distance in the final quarter. And they've got the opportunity, but the mark was dropped. Let's see what the youngster can do. That was Clark. He's kicked a couple of goals. Couldn't handle on this occasion. Goes back towards half-back, and Dunstan takes the mark. Plays on quickly. Saints go forward again, up towards the 50. Where's Paddy? There's Paddy! Second grab, and he's been paid. And he will go back with 1:26 on the clock.
Doesn't look 100% confident about the kick. It's going to be a tough distance kick into the breeze.
Yeah, we just saw Shane Savage have a kick from about the same distance on the other side. And
he can roost.
He can kick, and he didn't make the distance.
So he's going to be kicking from probably 48 metres. He does. And in going for that little bit extra, sees that ball swing away to the left. And in fact, will not trouble the scorer.
Saints fans won't be too concerned about the end result there, but he looks really good. That's twice in this quarter that he's marked floating across the front of the pack, coming in from the side, as opposed to just sitting under the ball, and looks really good doing it that way.
McKay turns back because no Blues are forward. They're all back, and it's caused a turnover. They had no one to kick to. Inside to Ross. He goes inside by hand. Seconds tick down. McCartan the target. Membry a target. Membry forced to go the spoil. Little push away. Okay, a little push. Umpire spotted it. It was with Wright having a crack at the mark. Yeah, nudge. Didn't go at the mark at all. 37 seconds left. Short to Byrne. See if the Blues play a little keepings off. Mop up these remaining seconds.
It's a good breeze. You want to get down and kick another goal.
You'd like to, but they haven't really had the forwards down there for the long kick for quite a while. Here's Ed Curnow. Will he take it on? 15 seconds left. One last roll of the dice. Right goes wide towards Cruiser. Still 5 seconds left to hurry up and bang it into Casbolt, who's on the lead, Casbolt, and he leaves it for the man of the moment, Paddy Dow.
Well, he's had a few shots for goal tonight, Paddy Dow. He got a hand pass in the goal square, ran into an open goal, but he's kicked a couple out in the full. He gets an opportunity here to kick his second.
A little bit of mini pressure after the siren kick. Test himself out. Blues fans will have liked what they've seen in their pick 3. Grandfather played for North Melbourne many a year ago, so footy in the blood, and he bends that back to perfection. The kid knows what he's doing. He's got a couple, and the Blues get some breathing space back with the Saints to come home with the breeze in the final quarter, and they come from everywhere to give him a pat on the head. 3-quarter time at Ikon Park, and it's Carlton by 20.
Australian squad and really developed his game from an insider like an Armitage, Dunstan, Kobe Stevens to a two-way runner that gets up and back, and they make a pretty good duo, the two of them.
They certainly do. Matty Cruiser's had a good night. So here we go. Cruiser is beaten by Longer, and away goes Gresham. A high ball for the Saints down towards the half-forward line, but going to be chopped off. And the Carlton defence been pretty solid tonight. There's a couple of players we thought would be playing but didn't. I speak of Wiedering, Petrevski-Seton, another withdrawal. Marchbank now to Cripps, has a bounce, has a look down towards the half-forward line. He had a couple of options there. Select Daisy Thomas, and it is. Thomas gives it off towards Fisher, who flicks it up towards... He was looking for Harry McKay. He got caught behind, however, and Carlisle takes the mark. Goes towards half-back, finds Armitage. Armitage goes short. He's got Dunstan, if it gets a kind bounce, and he does. Dunstan onto the left foot, goes down towards the 50 once again. A one-on-one contest. Good work on that occasion by Plowman. Dunstan again, good work by Plowman, affected the smother, but this time sees it go over the line.
Just a few occasions the Saints have just looked for the perfect option coming inside 50, sometimes under pressure like Dunstan was there. It's just about taking the territory, getting it inside 50 and giving your forwards a chance.
Back into play, down towards Gresham, went straight through and clean bowled him. Cripps waiting for the handball out. And happy to tackle across. Paddy McCartan's work's been pretty good tonight, though. He's done some good work on the ground. He's done some good work in the air and on the lead. And we know now that there's less contested marks taken in the game than ever before. I mean, the good contested marks like a Levi Casbolt take 2.5 a game on average. He's probably the best in the comp in the last couple of years. So you really have to have other strings to your bow, and McCartan has shown some other strings tonight. Yeah,
he's been good at ground level. He's been really clean. He's finished well. So, you know, I think a lot to like for Paddy tonight. We know it's going to be about continuity for Paddy, about having a really good run of games together before we can judge him. At the moment, really, it's still a bit of an unknown until he's able to play those consecutive games.
Jack pinballed off a couple, got the handball up. Long kick inside 50 by Caulfield. Here's McCartan on cue. Can he collect it? Little fumble. Handball and inboard. Looking for Dunstan. Missed him. And the Blues dodge a bullet. Daisy Thomas outside of the boot. Tried to manufacture something. Not sure that's what he was trying to do, but it worked. Feeds it back out to Silvani. He got it off just in time to mull it. Blasts it towards the outer side. High leap by Pickett. And the umpire said that was unrealistic.
Probably because he didn't touch the ball. He hadn't touched it. It looked a genuine attempt, didn't it?
Savage to Armitage.
Just talking about contested marks going out of the game.
Armo comes across the ground and finds Jack Steele. Saints need the next one. Gresham from a standing start, pops it up towards Membry, was the fire from behind, needs assistance. Nunes is there, had it for a moment, but only a moment. Marchbank puts the pressure on. The kick is high and wide by Clark and through for one behind. Let's have a look at Thomas working on disposals here.
He just chipped it over the top.
So chip and chase.
You give me possession and I'll get it back.
We just got a good look at that vertical leap you're talking about for Tim Membry, saying he's got an extraordinary vertical leap. Well, he jumped straight up off 2 feet there and nearly took a great.
Simpson, McKay in the pack but couldn't take it. Murphy dishes it out to Kerno.
Oh, late decision to pay a throw.
So it's coming back. Yep.
Can't believe it.
Murphy can't believe it. He's got a mystified look on his face. So Armitage gives it off to Nunes. Pumps it long, but is away to the left and through for one behind.
Yeah, I don't think you can call that a hand pass, can you?
No, it's
No.
Good decision, umpire.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a little late, as long as it's right. Simpson.
Oh, catch that.
He kicked the dirt. Charlie Kerno to Ed Kerno. They do get out of it. McKay. Murphy spears it to Cruiser. Nice movement. Silvani's over the top of the little one. If he wants to, he goes back inboard. Lamb, he's still got Silvani. Doesn't want it.
Gee, he just needed someone to hit up in the corridor.
He's beyond his range. He knows it. Everyone at the ground knows it. He's going to have to sit it up and hope. High. Thomas down there, goal square. Off hands, almost Cripps. And he's almost been a one-man band on occasions trying to set up scores. And he nearly set up a valuable one there. 73-54. But still, the Saints surge continues.
Roberton towards McCartan. Oh, a couple of big leapers. One was Kerno. Here's Gresham. He's got pace. Look at him go. Picked it up beautifully. Kicks down towards half forward. Saints have got the numbers. Membry is there, and he's also got the support of Sinclair. Marchbank has other ideas. The young defender does really well. Gives it off to a teammate in Cunningham. Carlton out of trouble for the moment. Back towards the half-back line. And over the boundary line it goes in front of Jimmy Webster and co. We've got a throw-in or on the full? On the full. So the Saints bringing it back. Need the next goal. 73-54. 14 and a half minutes remaining. High floating kick is going to be defensively marked by Marchbank.
Just bombing away a little bit downwind, the Saints, and not really identifying targets or kicking to the advantage of their teammates.
He goes down the line. Silvani couldn't take the mark. Has the support of Fisher, however. Flick further afield. Now a chance for the runners. Lamb does well. Back to Silvano, who'd followed him down. Gives it back to Lamb, who looks in towards full forward. Better pass the play. Cruiser, 1-2.
Big hand.
Is it
in the
enough?
back.
It's going to be enough. He got one in the back.
He got a massive hand in the middle of the back. Nearly bent him the wrong way in too.
Just taking the grass out of his mouth.
I think Billy Longer knew he was cooked then, so he thought, I'm going to make him earn this one.
Good hit from Jed Lamb. Again, he leads well, presents well. He's trying to crane his head up to see the ball, but
One goal in the first quarter for Matty Cruiser.
good kick here makes it interesting.
There's his record from that position. And it is a very good kick. Cruiser's got his second. And the Blues can smell a victory coming on here at Ikon Park as they open up a 25-point lead.
Well, I thought 20 points at three-quarter time would make for a really interesting game, but kind of with all the play the Saints have had, you didn't expect Carlton to kick the first goal of the quarter, and now we've got a serious game. They've got some work to do, the Saints.
Yeah, just a few better decisions, I think, going inside 50. We've seen them just blaze away a couple of times. Winning the majority of the footy, really, through the midfield, just not capitalising when they're able to go forward. And that's always the way. You have all the play, and then the counter-attack goes straight down the other end. And
mind you, I don't think St Kilda would be as concerned about the result as Carlton. Carlton, to me, are a little bit like Brisbane. You've got to get that winning habit back. When you've been down the bottom, you've got to get in the habit of getting results and getting reward for your effort. And if I'm the Blues, I'm desperate to win this. I want the players to start feeling what winning is all about.
I think you saw that from Brendan Bolton in the box when a couple of things went bad early. Rowan Marshall now in the ruck for the Saints. Tackle on Clark. And Clark will get the free, much to the displeasure of a few Blues fans. There's that long ball. Membry's direction. He had to go the fist in the end, keep it in the area and get it away from Jones. The Blues have more players out than the Saints. Sam Petrescu-Seton, Jacob Wettering Darcy Lang didn't play, Sam Rowe, Sam Doherty obviously out for the season, and Billings, Hickey, Kobe Stevens and Bruce for the Saints are the ones that are out.
A few of those guys are fit though. They played in the...
Hickey played in the...
Hickey, Kobe Stevens and Josh Bruce all played for Sandringham in the Curtin Razor.
Good point. Clark outside of the boot. Gresham, not the required distance, so played on quickly, but he threw it. That's how keen he was to get it off.
No argument from Jay Gresham. No, I don't think.
Double-handed scoop. And the Blues dodge another bullet.
He's an interesting player, Jade Gresham. He has a great ability to win his own footy, so at clearances, at stoppages, he goes in for centre bounces. We saw him in the first clearance of the last quarter, but it's probably just his tank at this stage that's preventing him from playing in the midfield on more occasions.
Mackay onto the left boot, kicks into the man on the mark, gets another chance, is able to get the hand pass away. Now Kennedy in towards half forward, and the finish in a flurry, and it's the youngsters that are coming to the fore in this final quarter.
Going up for possession, number 12. He's got a couple of goals to his name. Very important one. And sometimes you're forced into it when you're kicking the breeze. You don't just blaze away, so you're looking for those little chip kicks into space. It's a good kick from Kennedy. Now an opportunity for Dow to kick his third.
Directly in front. Starting right, staying right. Just the one behind goes on the board. Kicked a goal in the second. Goal in the third. Webster to bring it back into play. Just under 11 minutes remaining. Jimmy's kick, searching out for McCart. Plowman is there with him. Marchbank uncontested.
Can he find the footy? Possession number 23 for Carlton Marchbank, the most of anyone on the ground.
Kicks in towards Gilbert, but he couldn't take it. Now, which way's that got to bounce? Away to the left for Curnow for one behind.
It was a great contest from Silvani there. He was out of position, and all he could do was bring the ball to ground, and he committed his body, and his teammate had a shot on goal as a result.
Gillen Robert it again. Fair kick, almost down to the middle of the ground, and what the fly that was. Sat on his shoulders as Steele gives it to Armitage. Gresham, little pirouette, 360. Going nowhere, but eventually getting it out towards right. Still outside 50. Kick's got to be good here. Can anyone take a mark? Sinclair was there, couldn't take it. Byrne now picks it up, gets the hand pass away. String of hand passes. Blues out of trouble again.
Maybe only temporary. Webster knocked it down. Good attack. Gresham goes back in to get it. They jump on him. Did he jump on it? First, holding the ball. No, he got it out. Carlo, he got an eternity.
He waited an absolute eternity, Dwayne. You're right.
Jones with the fist. Fantastic spoil on the leap towards it. Memory, the twist and turn got away from Fisher. Rolls it inside 50. The intensity's gone up here. Both these teams, you sense, want to get a victory. Around the body by Byrne. Got it out wide to Simpson. He's got Silvani on the run. And he's got McKay at about 40 metres forward. If he wants it, he goes wider. Daisy Thomas, not sure that was the option, and it rolls out of play.
Well, often in your first hit out in a full game JLT style, you try and wonder where the last 4 or 5 months of pre-season went. Your lungs are absolutely burning, and keeping an eye on most of the boys that are coming to the bench in this last quarter, they are absolutely feeling it. It often takes 2 to 3 full games to make it feel like you're match conditioned to be able to run out the full 2 hours of footy.
Well, they've only got a couple this time. Curnow round the body. Inside 50 once again. No one clear. An opportunity, though, for the young recruit from Carlton, who'd come down from GWS. Over the top, there we see Carlisle. Picks himself up, big Jake.
Good effort from Jack Silvani there. He actually didn't touch the ball, but he ran back desperate to make a contest and forced Carlisle to spill the mark, and that resulted in a stoppage here in the pocket.
8 minutes remaining. Casbolt pushing down in front, seeing it go over the line. Zach Fisher will be looking to add to his 17 games that he's played so far with the Blues. The Carlton camp. Wiedering, front and centre. Not playing tonight. Was originally named. So to Petrescu's seat not to be.
Yeah, you get a free kick, Jack.
Yeah, it's going against Gilbert.
And you've got a 2-on-1. You wonder how players can tumble into that.
He plays on straight away.
Well, he was actually passing it right. Right thought.
Kick right there.
I
You
don't
can
need
have
to
it.
touch it.
Yeah, you can have it.
It can go through.
So put that one down for Jack Silvani. He didn't mean it, but he's got it. Well done, Jack. And that sort of does seal it as far as the Saints are concerned. 7-12. Carlton are 13-9. 87 plays 54. 7.5 remaining. Final turn.
You see the right arm just retarding Silvani from competing for the ball. So he got caught out of position, Gilbert, and then just didn't disguise putting a bit of pressure on Silvani to protect his teammates back, I guess.
But again, it was his desire to compete and just create a contest, because he wasn't going to mark the footy. He's done it already twice this quarter and brought the ball to ground really well and gets a just reward there.
Carlton's second JLT game against Hawthorn down in Launceston. So a few of those players that weren't playing in this one obviously will head down to Launceston for that. Saints' next JLT game is at Casey Fields, and it's against the Demons.
How good did he do, Kennedy? They're getting the kick away.
Silvani back inside 50 to McKay. And against the breeze, they've looked almost perfect with their ball use in this last quarter of the Blues, even though they were under immense pressure at the start of it.
Should take a serious kick from here.
Back tracks Harry McKay, their pick 10 from a couple of years ago. Third season. He had some great contested mark numbers as a junior and in the VFL, and didn't quite finish that one off there after getting himself free. But some nice space between them and the Saints right now.
He's just had the 2 games in 2 seasons, McKay. And he'll be looking to really try and cement a spot as Savage brings the ball back into play, goes to the outer side and finds Hughes. He goes down the line. Some of the youngsters getting an opportunity. Kick's got to be good, and it is, finding one of those in Nick Caulfield. Caulfield, one of the more seniors, in Sam Gilbert. Gilbert to Akers. As Nicky Dow said, some pretty tired players at this stage, just getting their campaigns going at the highest level again. Akers again. Gilbert. Penetrating left hand pass was okay towards Clark, who's kicked a couple of goals. Now they go over the middle, up towards Membry territory, towards half forward. He was in that pack but couldn't take the mark. Cruiser provides a link, and it's a good one too. They've got players running. One of them is Marchbank. He gets a kick now, but it's poorly directed, and it's going to be chopped off by Brown.
Carlisle sent to full forward for the Saints at the moment, so we'll see if that's by accident, whether it's a deliberate ploy to send him down there and spend some minutes down there, Nick.
Yeah, it happened a few times last year. One of those swingmen type roles, so he's got a great ability to catch the footy and a pretty good kick for a big fella. So I think we'll see that at various stages for the Saints throughout the year if things aren't perhaps quite working up in the forward line.
Dow, nice little give by foot to Dale Thomas. So Paddy Dow would be content with his first night in a Blues jumper. Dale Thomas just to put the cherry on top here. Gives it some air. Sits in the air, and Kerno nearly made something of it. But only A behind off hands. What a monster crowd here at Ikon Park, but a Wednesday night experiment for the AFL, and those that have come, I think the Blues fans have enjoyed what they've seen.
Very good. It's just very difficult to see them on the other side, though.
They've got their phone lights on like it's a Robbie Williams concert.
Here's an opportunity for the Saints now through Clark. He's kicked 2. He doesn't go for goal. He passes beautifully. Carlisle, who, as we mentioned, has moved down to the forward line, kicks the goal.
Yeah, plenty of Blues remonstrating in the middle of the ground because there was a good tackle laid. Some Kilda player just dropped the ball and it was called play on. They had players streaming back towards goal. Carlisle was waiting for an eternity for the long kick over the top, but the ball was that one right there. But I guess he was hit, but he wasn't held. Gresham. Blues players didn't like it. But he's been good, Clark, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, really nice. He just looks like he's got great balance and poise with the ball in hand, and
makes good decisions.
Yeah,
too.
done some really good things tonight.
Yeah, most of the recruits have shown something, which, as Nick Rewald said earlier, The recruiting managers are in the grandstands, biting their fingernails, hoping, because you can't waste a top 10 pick these days. They're so important. The resurrection of a couple of clubs like the Saints and the Blues especially, who are trying to work their way up to the top half of the ladder, maybe even inside the top 8 by the end of this year. Certainly the Saints would have top 8 aspirations. 11th last year with 11 wins. Didn't miss out by much. The Blues have got a bit more climbing to do. Big pack around this. 3.5 minutes left.
Saw the article in the paper today about the Saints, putting it out there that they, on the back of Richmond and Bulldogs the last couple of years, could potentially win the flags. And I feel like they're great things to hear as a player from your coach. They fill you with a lot of confidence. I remember in heading into the 2004 season, Grant Thomas saying that he thought we were ready to really lay an assault on the premiership, and as a young player just sort of thinking, oh really, you think we're in that position, and that can do great things for players' confidence.
Well, I think it's not just the coach saying it. It's the efforts of both the Bulldogs and Richmond that have shown all the players that if you get on a roll, you don't have to get there, make top 4, play some finals to get the experience. You can actually get there and do it all in the one season.
Well, Richmond came from 16th to win the flag, so that emphasises the point that Jason Dunstall and Nick Rewell are making. Not sure what Jones was doing there, but he knocked it down to right, and it was all wrong.
I've got a feeling Liam Jones got himself under the footy and he was going to mark it and then thought, I can't mark this, I can only get one hand up to it, which you can reach one up higher than 2. And so he thought, I better whack this away, and he's hit it straight to Wright, who's standing front and square. He probably couldn't believe his luck, thinking, oh, thank you very much.
First goal for Nathan Wright. And the Saints 9th.
Maybe Jones thought Carlisle was going to come over the top.
Cruz has done a great job tonight. And, that's a really good sign for Carlton on that occasion, going up against Rowan Marshall. Is he close, Nick? Rowan Marshall?
Yeah, I guess it's really going to depend on the structure that the Saints want to go with. If it's 2 forwards, I think he'll probably be a little bit further down the list. What he does have going for him is his ability to go and play in the ruck. So if he's able to play as a third tall, he'll spend a bit of time giving Billy Longer or Tom Hickey, the #1 ruck, a chop out. But it will really depend on the structure up forward. Played just the one game last year and had a really good year at VFL level, kicked quite a few goals and performed really strongly.
Right in trouble there. Had it and then lost it. Jack Stephen tries to go against Cripps. Armitage also in the thick of things. Murphy. Steady and cool, isn't he? As he gives it to Fisher, who clears away. Silvani now got to beat a couple, so he soccers off the ground and he gains 25 metres and he's still going to go.
Good option.
Picks it up this time, gets boot to ball. Now, did it go on the fall?
He get pinged this time.
Yeah, what a shame.
It was a really good effort to chase 1 against 2. Got a good kick off the deck. Really bought some valuable territory there.
Dunstan is alone and should mark. He does. Just a little floater on the left foot, around the body. Marchbank on the Acres mark. Over the centre they go. Oh, he's stepped away and cleverly done. The bounce may favour Nunes. He was leg. Seb Ross may play on.
Yeah, good decision. The downfield umpire called that one.
Yep.
He's got to come back. But with the breeze, he's probably in range. Tackle just slipped down. Fisher. Makes good connection. This will go close.
Well, he's going to be kicking from 55.
Try pulling this one to the top of the square.
Probably further than 55. Did reasonably well. Carlton, and eventually just hammered defensively over the line, conceding the one behind. Jones picks himself up. And it will be Simpson, the veteran defender, who will bring it back into play for the Blues with just over a minute remaining.
If you have joined us late, they've looked good, the new look Blues. No Bryce Gibbs this year, Sam Doherty out for the year, but they've been close to full strength tonight. Petrevski, Seaton and Weeder in the late outs as Dunstan kicks it toward the top of the square, and Blues getting plenty of numbers back. Tackle laid on one of their young guns, O'Brien, and he holds it up. But their young guns have looked good. O'Brien, Dow, and we've talked about a couple of recruits like Pickett and Mullet who've got a fair bit of it. So some good signs for Carlton. And talk about the Saints aiming to make the 8. Well, the motto at the Blues is no ceiling under Brendan Bolton. We've heard that a few times over the course of the last couple of weeks, and it's good that they believe as well, as this one squirts out of play and we'll get a ball in, as Nick Rewalt mentioned earlier. If your coach doesn't believe you can do it, well, you've probably got doubts yourself.
And they'd be really happy with what they've seen tonight too, the Saints. Hunter Clark's had a great night. Caulfield's done some nice things. Well, I think probably the biggest one has been Paddy McCartan. He's competed well. He's hit the scoreboard a couple of times, taken some nice marks, and probably most importantly got through.
Murphy gives it off. Blues out of trouble inside the last 20 seconds. I think they too would be pretty pleased with their performance. Here's Simpson.
Oh, Ed McKay on the long lead.
Well, he found him in the end. Big Harry.
Kick him out.
He's 75 out. No, he's not going to worry. So victory to Carlton. In the end, doing it pretty easily, 89 to 67. A margin of 22 points. They led by 27 points at quarter time. Got it back to 21 at half time, and it's been around that mark right through to the final siren. 22 points in favour of the Blues. Major contributors, Dow had a great first up game. He booted a couple. Cruiser and Cripps each booted 2 as well. So too did Matthew Wright. As we go down to one of the young stars.